Higher. Now, to commemorate the release of a single on our record label Good Fine Records by an artist called Hesh. The single is called Caracois and it's playing probably beneath me right now. I wanted to celebrate Brazilian music because he's a Brazilian artist, and I wanted to introduce you to 5 Brazilian records that can help you to get into Brazilian music. Okay, so we're going to kick it off with this record by a legend of Brazilian music, Milton Nascimento, along with Lo Borges. It's credited to Milton Nascimento and Lo Borges, and it's a collective called Club da Esquina, and the record is also called Club da Esquina. It's an amazing record. It's a famous record. It's an iconic record in the Brazilian music canon, and you should get to know it. It's just beautifully crafted songs by the master Milton Nascimento, and it's a record that's not to be missed. What I have up next, Tim Maia. This is an artist that really got me into Brazilian music when I visited Rio in 2007. I heard his music in a cab, and I asked the cab driver, what is this? And he said Tim Maia, and it sent me down the rabbit hole. Tim Maia has a number of classic albums. It can get a little bit confusing because they're all called Tim Maia and they all have his face on them. But this is my personal favourite. It's the album that he recorded in 1972. It's real like soulful, almost like Muscle Shoals, Memphis soul. It's a beautiful record, part Brazilian. I think there's a couple tracks on here that he sings in English, but he's like a king of Brazilian music in a way. Nascimento is also a king, but you know what I mean. He's a big deal too. And this is a great album, Tim Maia, 1972. But all these albums, for the most part, especially the 70s stuff, is great. So let's move on before we run out of time. Marcus Valle, another legend. Previsão do Tempo. This is just an incredible record from beginning to end. And Marcus Valle is an incredible artist. The vinyl for this is pretty expensive. I wouldn't say it's hard to come across, but even the reissues go for quite a bit of money. But you don't have to get it on vinyl. You can just have this record in your life. I guarantee you will not be let down. It's really smooth, soulful, fun, you know. It puts you in a good space, and it's a famous record by a famous artist. All his music's good. He says it's kind of a theme with these artists. They're all iconic artists. That's why they're good for getting you into this genre. Anyway, Elis Regina. This is the greatest hits album. Elis Regina, one of the most beautiful voices ever placed on planet Earth, and she's just worth getting into. Another icon, another legend, and she is amazing. So this is the greatest hits. You can start with the greatest hits and dig into the albums. I couldn't highlight any particular album because all the music is pretty on a high level. So I just recommend the greatest hits to get you going. And what have I got here? Oh, Jorge Ben, the great Jorge Ben, my favourite Brazilian artist. This is his first album, and it's just filled with beautiful Jorge Ben compositions, him and his guitar, and little subtle minimal accompaniment, and he makes the most of it. A brilliant album from beginning to end. Jorge Ben, Brazil's towering talent of guitar and song. Jorge Ben, that's what it's called, and that pretty much sums it up. So those are 5 Brazilian records to get you into Brazilian music. Hesh, Calaçoi, I'm terrible at pronouncing the name. Calaçoi is on Spotify and all DSPs. Check it out. Good Fine Records, Hi-Fi Recluse, We in the House, One Love. Get into Brazilian music. Peace.